Now, here's your host, the voice of the Baylor Bears, John Morris.
And hi and welcome live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Welcome into the Baylor Coaches Show presented by Central National Bank. We're glad you're with us this evening. Those of you in attendance here at Rudy's, welcome to you. Those of you watching on the Baylor Athletics YouTube channel, that's always available. And as always on our flagship station in Waco, ESPN Central Texas. Welcome to you. We're glad you're here. And folks, join me in welcoming our leadoff guest this evening, Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian head coach.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Very nice to see you. It's actually been a while. I haven't seen you in a while.
It has been a while. It's good to be back.
All right, so let's just catch up. You and I will just talk and catch up over the next 30 minutes. That'll be fun. Talk about your team. Talk about the program. Talk about that rain we had this morning. Yeah. Is that an issue? I mean, it was pretty heavy rain.
You know, it always waits till right before we're going to host a home meet to just open the skies for us. And don't get me wrong, we definitely needed it. But we pulled into the arena, or into the barn facility this morning, just very, very flooded. So needless to say, we'll be in one arena on Saturday, which is fun for our team. We like it from a competition standpoint, but it does make for a little longer day. But our horses enjoyed it. We're enjoying the warm weather.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It is warming up. That's true. So the outside arena, it literally flooded?
It literally flooded. It was completely underwater this morning, gushing out of the south end of it.
Oh,
So it looks a little better this afternoon, but it'll take it a couple solid days to dry.
Yeah.
So we won't be dry by Saturday.
Gotcha. Any other issues when you have a rain like that?
Rain's okay. No, rain's okay. It's the cold that does us in more than anything else.
Yeah.
But the rain we can handle.
What about the cold? So we had that stretch, week 2 weeks ago. What is that? What challenges does that present?
Yeah, biggest thing for us is just water, keeping everything from freezing. And so obviously we weren't made for this here in Texas.
Yeah.
So when it freezes for more than one night, pipes start breaking, and then you just lose access to water for horses, things like that. The horses do well. We let them grow a winter hair coat. Like they do well. They adjust. We let them self-regulate. And whatnot. Just you got to keep food in front of them and shelter, and they do okay. It's more so just the water flow.
Gotcha.
I feel like you're only fixing pipes when it's 20 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. And I would think out there, just picturing the arena and the little stalls around it, pretty much exposed pipes out there too, aren't they?
Most of it's exposed. Done a lot of really good work over the last 7-8 years, just trying to get it deeper in ground, have flex pipe, just different things that can really help us. And we've got different shutoffs now where we can cut off certain lines that we know are going to freeze and drain them. So there's certain things we've learned over the years to try to be more proactive about.
Good. Blankets on the horses, anything like that, or?
Yes and no. Depends on the horse. Usually our inside ones we do. We put blankets on them because we try to keep their hair a little shorter. Our outside ones just kind of depends on if they have thick skin and a good hair coat, we let them go without blankets. But if they're thinner skinned or they're really old, we want them to conserve their calories, so we'll put blankets on them. So just kind of depends on the horse.
That's good. Just like at our house. If they're old, put an extra blanket on us.
Exactly.
So that's good. Glad they are taken care of very well. You got a home meet coming up on Saturday. That'll be fun.
We're excited. We're ready to kick it off.
South Dakota State coming in.
Yes.
Tell us about the matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it should be a great spring kickoff. We're just really excited about the whole spring schedule as a whole. Completely. I mean, we're 3 at home, and to be able to get to start at home this spring is going to be great. Like I mentioned a minute ago, we're excited to be in one arena. It does make for a little longer day, but it allows the team to see everything that's going on and every ride from start to finish. So we're excited about that. South Dakota's kicking off their spring season too. They're down here, play TCU today, play SMU tomorrow, and then they're going to play us.
Oh wow, 3 straight days.
Yeah, a big spell of it. So it's a big meet for both of us.
That's good. Is that hard for them to go all 3 in 3 straight days?
3 is hard. 2 is pretty normal.
Yeah.
When you fly somewhere to try to get 2 and just kind of get more bang for your buck, if you will. But, I think when you're, it just depends on your school's budget. If you're going to go somewhere and try to make the most out of the trip when you're down there and, not to have to take your kids out of school more than once, if you will. And so they're definitely doing that while they're down here.
Good. First of 3 home meets over the spring, and you've bumped up the start a little bit. Is that because you're in one arena?
Partly because we're in one arena, and also because they're flying home that night. So we try to just be real helpful, to whoever's coming in. If you can, we're all trying to save money, right? So if they can save a night on a hotel and get home, so we moved it up for them so they can catch their flight that night.
Very good. Tell us about the makeup of your team. What's your team like this year?
It's a really good group. really good group. Team dynamic's amazing. We're going to graduate 16 seniors, this year. 5 of those are fifth years. 2 of them are graduating early. So it's kind of just made our senior class, if you will, a little larger than what we intended. So we've got quite a bit of veteran experience, and then we've got a bunch of freshmen as well. And so it's been really neat to watch them all come together. I mean, the fall was a testimony, to how much they came together internally. And so watching them get to work this spring, we're excited.
How was the fall for you? What are some of the highlights from your fall?
Fall was, it was all internal highlights. It was all the things people don't see.
Right,
that internal growth, and things like that. Every team we played was a top 5 team. It was an incredibly hard schedule that we put in front of them. And so, statistically it was tough. But I will say we went back and we just did a lot of analytics over the winter break, and the points we lost were points where we lost ourselves. We made our own mistakes and things like that. So it wasn't a case of really like getting outridden, getting out-competed and whatnot. We made our own faults, and that's fixable. So we're, balls in our court. We've got a great spring season in front of us, and that's what we're focusing on right now. So they've put in the work. They've got the right attitude. They've got the right energy. So see what happens.
That's great. You mentioned analytics. We hear that with sports now, but even in equestrian, there's analytics you look at?
There is. You kind of go back and you look at you get judges' scorecards, so you get, how the judges mark them in each box and their comments on it, and then we can go back and evaluate it ourselves. And so we can go back and look at those rides side by side, head to head, if you will, and see why did she lose this match, and, was it because she had a 3-point penalty, if she's in a Western event, or she had a fault if she's in a jumping seat event. Those are things that we can take accountability for, and we can go back and fix. And so as we go back and, as you go through the season, it all goes so fast. You kind of, you look at it, you take it meet by meet, but you move on. And so it's a good time mid-season for us to really sit back and reflect on, like, what were the trends? What were things we really need to focus on as we're coming back this spring? And so did a lot of that between December and January. Had a lot of really good conversation. Yeah.
On the analytics side of it, is that all of you coaches who do that, or do you have one person on your staff who's kind of the analytics person?
That's a great question. So we all kind of analyze our own respective event that we coach, if you will, but we do sit around the table and talk about all of it. And so and kind of bring all different opinions to the table, different, you may see it through a completely different lens. And so so I think it's really good just to bounce off of each other, but we all specialize in a certain area for sure. So I'll stay in my lane and not get too far out of it. So.
That's good. All right, very good. We're off and running with Coach Casie Maxwell, Baylor Equestrian, our subject as we begin the Baylor Coaches Show this evening. We'll take a break and be back with more in just a moment. It is the Baylor Coaches Show presented by Central National Bank. Central National Bank, your leading independent bank. We'll be back with Coach Maxwell right after this.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun.
Glenn Moore.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Just took the Tacoma off-road, deep into the woods. I got to this hidden campsite only it could reach, Hey, what about you?
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Oh, sweet. Wait, hey, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control. I didn't even break a sweat getting up to the spot.
Oh, well, I hit some pretty rough terrain myself. The Tundra handled it no problem with all that torque. The best part was pulling my buddy's camper through the mud like it was nothing.
Well, speaking of mud, I was kicking it up all weekend. But my Tacoma didn't even flinch.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
Whatever fun looks like to you, the Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are ready for it. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line. You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Baylor Coaches Show presented by Central National Bank. We are live at Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Thanks to our host here at Rudy's, a proud sponsor of Baylor Athletics. Be sure to stop by your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com for some real Texas barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. Don't forget, Rudy's serves breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. Bob Baker, you know that. And thanks again to our host here at Rudy's. Continuing with Casie Maxwell, Baylor equestrian head coach. Some new faces on your staff as we get to the spring. Tell us about them.
Yeah, 3 out of the 5 are new. Not new to the NCAA, but new to Baylor. And so we hired Coach Bobby Pittock from South Carolina. She had coached there. Previous to that, she had coached at UC Davis with our former assistant coach, Jesse Weisinger. And so that was kind of a good connection for us. So brought her in to take on the horsemanship. And then Grace Boston is our assistant jumping seat coach. Her sister was actually on the team here with us while Grace rode at Texas A&M. So the family's been with us for a while, but nice to welcome her to Baylor. And then our director of ops is also new, Leah Eli. It was at Findlay, so she had coached as well, but in the IHSA, which is the other collegiate format. And then had also been in admissions and stuff. So,
oh, really?
So she's seen every piece of it.
Yeah.
And so it's nice. She's new to the NCAA and whatnot, but has a equine background, and so.
Sounds like good experience for someone in that position.
Very good experience.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. Very good. Well, we're glad they're here. Glad they are here at Waco. And we mentioned South Dakota State this Saturday, starting at 10:30 a.m., moved up 30 minutes.
Yep.
And then Oklahoma State February 15th.
Yes.
At noon, and TCU on March 1st.
Yes,
at
TCU
noon.
will be our senior day,
Okay.
so we'll finish off the regular season with a senior meet here at home.
So that's your schedule for the spring is 3 home and 3 away. Is that right, or more than 3 away?
Well, we are 3 away. We are going to play at Fresno State next weekend, and then we're going to go to South Dakota State and play a neutral team there as well in March as well.
Okay,
so.
Very good. And explain to everyone, I feel like we need to do this. You folks that are here, you know this because you know equestrian, but explain to someone watching or listening, when you go to South Dakota, when you go to Fresno, you're not flying your horses there,
Correct.
right? So explain how that works.
Correct. That's actually like a huge perk to horses that are leased or donated into the program is they really stay at home almost all year except for the postseason. The regular season, the home team provides the equipment, the horses, the saddles, everything like that. We literally come with our uniforms and the gear that we need on ourselves that day. And so there is probably some home team advantage to knowing the horses, if you will. There's pros and cons to that. You know them too well. Like that's the downside of it. You don't have all the work to put into meet day, that you have when you're at home and you have to take care of those horses and whatnot. So the only time that we'll travel our horses is for the Big 12 Conference Championship and the National Championship, and that's a place where they try to level the playing field even more than they do in the regular season, and you'll ride on a completely neutral set of horses.
Oh, okay.
So Big 12 is at TCU this year. We'll go up there and play them, and hypothetically, if we were playing TCU, we would ride completely on neutral horses, Oklahoma State's horses that they bring in or whatnot. And so just takes it one notch higher that you are truly on neutral horses, even if you're at someone's home arena, levels it out.
But during the regular season, I would think that would be a pretty good home advantage because you're going to Fresno, it's their horses.
Correct.
They know them. You really don't. You got to get to know them really quick.
We do. You get 4 minutes to get to know them, and that's what we try to prep for every day in practice. There's riding a different horse every day, switching horses in practice, things like that. While they do know their horses at home better, they don't know which horses they're going to compete on. So it's not like as we're getting ready for this matchup on Saturday, Maddie Mitchell can prepare on the same horse all week long. Yeah. She's not going to know till Saturday morning which horse she's on. So she's got to be prepared on a versatile number of horses. But there is some home team advantage. You do know them better for sure. At least for the conference play, that's where we try to home and away we have to home and away every conference opponent.
Right.
So we'll play TCU at home here and play them at their place too. And so you get both ends of it.
I got you. What's the key when you have 4 minutes to get to know a horse and a horse to get to know you? Yeah. What's the process there?
There's so much that goes into it. Your game plan is usually different if you're riding that horse first or if you're riding it second. So if you're riding it first, you can usually develop your own game plan, based on the little bit that you know about that horse. But if you're riding it second, now you're dealing with an animal who's already gone in. They know what they're going to be doing. Maybe they got ridden too hard or maybe they got ridden too easy. So you have to adjust that. Your goal in that 4 minutes is just to kind of develop mutual respect for one
Yeah.
another. Like, you can't battle it out in 4 minutes. You can't make that horse listen to you. You have to listen to what they're telling you, adapt to them as much as you need them to, like, respect you. And so depends on the event. And the fences, all 4 events you get 4 minutes. And the fences you get to jump 4 jumps. And then in some of the events you're restricted in the number of maneuvers you can have. And so what I try to tell our girls when they go in is just to have a very fluid game plan. Like, I try to tell them, what's your first thing? As you've watched that horse, you get to watch them get warmed up by girls that day that are not competing. So the little bit you know about him, you've watched him warm up. Maybe you got to watch him compete the first time. What's the first element you want to tackle, and kind of prioritizing that. So, if you're in the rating, the event I coach, and you want to go in and you want to feel out your turns, then that's great. And they count it down. They're 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. I'm like, by the time you hit that, you hear 1 minute, you need to be moving on. You can't get hung up in something. And so just having a really fluid game plan. But I'm like, if you prioritize the things that you want to get done, if you don't get down to number 4 and number 5, that's okay. It wasn't something you were really worried about. And so you got to trust your skill set. You got to trust your training. And you just really want that horse to tune into you and just pay attention to you in those 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And so
that's really good. That's good. That's good coaching. Hit me if this is a dumb question, but is there any scouting prior to, like, if you got, if you got some video of a meet at Fresno and you're going to Fresno, maybe you see their horses there. Can you watch video?
You can.
Okay.
And there are coaches that are very pro, knowing everything about them.
Really?
That are like, I'm going to call who went there last weekend. I want the full rundown. I'm the complete opposite.
You don't do that.
I want to know nothing.
Okay, good.
Nothing. We're riding live animals. And so, and this, I appreciate every coach's perspective on this because they're all very different. My horsemanship coaches, Coach Jesse previous and Coach Bobby, they like more information than I do. Okay. I think you can tend to develop an opinion about that horse based on how he was last week or how he was last year when you saw him and whatnot. And we just have to understand we're riding live animals. They can be completely different today than they were yesterday. And so the ability to just be really fluid in your game plan and just really adjust to them, I think, is just really important. And that's where sometimes at home is hard because you have this preconceived idea of how well they can be, or I got to practice on him on Wednesday and he was great, but Saturday he's not in a good mood. And so, you don't want to sell yourself short in those spaces. And so I really try to coach our girls up to just being in the moment, just being present in the moment. You have to feel your horse. You have to listen to them and, take everything else with a grain of salt. Anything that someone tells you that day about him, or his habits, take it with a grain of salt. Because it may not happen today. Yeah, so.
That's great. That's great information. That's really good. I can see how you have that approach going in. You relay that to your girls and don't get too caught up in what you think previously or what you might have seen even earlier in the day. You've got some returning players, some veteran players. You mentioned 16 seniors. You've got some that have a lot of really good experience for you, don't they?
Yeah, we do. Maddie Mitchell's back for a 5th year. She's been great. She's been in the flat and the fences for us. Just a dynamic, versatile player, good teammate. It's really been cool to watch develop over her 5 years, her confidence in herself, her skill set in the arena. So really great to have her over there. Lauren Reed's over there on the jumping seat side as well, junior with us this year, also in both events. And so, some really good mentors there. And then the horsemanship side is pretty stacked with some veterans. Alexis Rutledge, Natalie Vasquez, and Gia Posey are back. All seniors gonna graduate this year, but have been competitive for us over their 4-year time with us. Yeah,
that's great. It's veterans, I would think in all sports to have veterans with experience really means a lot to your team.
It does. I mean, you watch them just kind of settle into it. This format's different than anything they do when we're recruiting them, when they're youth or amateurs before they come into college. The format's different. The catch riding different horses is different. And so, that first year, there's some anxiety around all of that, getting in, just adjusting to all of it. It's completely normal. And everybody adjusts at their own pace. You got to meet them where they are. But you just watch them as they go through their 4 or their 5 years, just how much more settled they get, much more confident they get in what they're doing and their ability to relay that. They can relay that better back to their teammates than we can because they're living it. And so it's really neat to watch the process happen.
So I guess prior to college or prior to Baylor, whatever their upbringing is with horses, it's probably their horse, right? So they're only competing on their horse or horses, but some they know really well.
Correct. There is, even if it's for a short period of time, like they're getting to ride the horse before they go in and compete. You know, maybe they've only had it even for a month, if you will, but they're either owning or leasing that animal, you know, before they go in and compete on it. So they're definitely not showing up to the horse show and just randomly drawing one like we do in college. So, and that is part of their training as they come up, is getting really getting to know that specific horse and training that specific horse to them as well. And so you have to let go of some of that when you come to college and realize it's got to be a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. That's really good. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll take some questions from the audience. Give us your questions. We'll put those in front of Coach Maxwell. We'll do that when we return, live from Rudy's on the Baylor Coaches Show, and we'll be right back after this.
Kids can now join the Baylor Cup Club, presented by Green Eye Associates, the official kids club of Baylor Athletics. Fans 12 and under can register for the low cost of $25 and gain exclusive benefits and access to Baylor Athletics events. Members receive free admission to select events, exclusive giveaway access, and their own membership package. To register your cub, please visit BaylorBears.com/Cub Club. Sign your cub up today and sick 'em Bears.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodrow. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
Have you gone gold yet? Go gold with Baylor Athletics this season and be the gold factor across each of our sports. Wear exclusive Go Gold apparel from the Baylor bookstore at the upcoming Go Gold dates. To stay up to date on some golden opportunities, visit BaylorBears.com/Go Gold. Go Gold and sick 'em Bears.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Coaches Show presented by Central National Bank. Let's give you our Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics health tip for the week. Don't let pain slow you down. We diagnose and treat sports-related injuries and provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike. Visit a Baylor Scott and White sports medicine and orthopedic specialist and move like you used to. And as we continue with Casie Maxwell, Baylor equestrian coach, that Baylor Scott and White, Southwest Sports Medicine Orthopedics, refers to humans.
Yes.
Who do you have that takes care of the four-legged four-legged animals that are part of your program?
You pretty much have all the equivalents that you have on the human side on the animal side. So your veterinarians, your doctor, you have sports medicine specific ones. You have dentists, you have acupuncture, you have chiropractor, you have everything that you need.
Really?
And so we can pull in whoever they need specifically. We have a team vet, so we always start with him if we have an issue, and a team farrier who works on their feet. And so start with those guys, but then if they need something more specific, then they refer us out. So it's truly like human medicine. We just don't have insurance, so we have to pay cash for it.
Oh, that's quite a team behind the team, isn't it?
It is a team. It is. So you look at the program, you're like, you have 60 athletes that you've got to keep fed and healthy and all the things, and then you have 50 horses that you have to do exactly the same thing with. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a big number. All right, we got some questions from the audience.
Perfect.
You ready for that?
I'm ready.
Let's start with this one. And Roy asked, when did equestrian originate? What do you think?
I honestly have no idea.
I know.
We've been right before me. I know that.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's been around. I mean, competitively, for like what we're doing now, collegiately, it's only been around since 1999. Our format has, but competitively, like in the industry, I mean, back to the 40s and 50s, people have been competing. It's evolved so much. So.
But collegiately, really only back to 1999.
1999, yeah. 2001 was the first year that they recognized it as an NCAA sport. And so, and it goes back further than 1999 at a club level.
Okay.
But that's when there was a transition to NCAA, started recognizing it collegiately and countably through the Division I pipeline. And so it's been really cool to watch it evolve since my time, a long time ago.
Your time. And there's still a rival organization to NCEA? Maybe not rival, but alternate?
Yeah, really not rival. There's two collegiate formats, if you will, the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association and the National Collegiate Horse Show Association, which is the format that we're in that the NCAA adopted as the collegiate format. So the IHSA has it competes at a club level, and it's anywhere from beginner level riders up to what they call open is the highest level rider, Western and jumping seats programs all over the country, predominantly on the East Coast. There's a lot of English-only programs that are on the East Coast, and so I wouldn't say rivalry because we don't recruit the same athletes, we don't provide the same opportunities, and truly, as you look at the pipeline of who's coming through equestrian from a youth standpoint, we're all still turning people away. There's so many people who want to get into it. So it's really is great to have both paths and try to give as many people an opportunity collegiately as we can.
I got you. So recruiting-wise, well, I don't want to step on Roy's question. Roy also asked, other than riding ability, what do you look for in the girls that you recruit?
That's a great question. Definitely, they have to catch your eye from a talent standpoint, from a riding standpoint. We look strongly at their academics. I mean, Baylor is tough, and we want them to be successful. We want them to contribute to the team's success. And so look at their academics, make sure it's a priority. We have the conversation with them that they're not getting drafted, they're not going pro, so they got to get a good job to provide for their horse habit when they're done with college. That's what we tell them, because Dad's probably not paying anymore. And then just really good team player attitude. When we bring them here on a visit, we have them spend a lot of time with our student athletes and from both ends. I mean, they're feeling out our team's feeling out them. Is it the right fit? Is it going to complement our team dynamic? What are they going to be able to bring to the table? With 60 athletes, not everyone's going to compete. And so we're asking people to come in and transition from an individual sport their entire life to a team sport. And so how do they feel about that? Will they find a space to really be able to contribute to the team, even if it's not competitively in the arena on Saturday?
Fascinating. That's great. That's very good. A lot of times they recruit you as much as you recruit them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're looking for
Which
their
is a good
fit
thing.
as well. It is. With the volatility of the transfer portal, which hasn't really hit our sport as bad as it has other sports, but with as many options as they have, we want them to get it right the first time. If we have a kid who comes to the door and I love Baylor, I want to be here, this is where I want to commit, and we're their first visit, I usually push them out the door to go visit one or two other schools because I just want them to be sure. I don't want them to look back as a sophomore and be like, I wish I would have looked here, or it's too small for me, or whatever the reason may be. And so we want them to know Baylor from an academic standpoint is right for them, and then from a team standpoint, it's their right fit as well.
That's perfect. Know what you're getting into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before you come here. Good question, Roy. Thank you. Steve and Diana are right here. Perfect. We're so glad y'all are here, and Steve, hope you're doing well. They ask, how young were most of your students when they started riding, and do they all own a horse?
Oh, that's a great question. Most of them start really young. I mean, between 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, they start really young, getting on a horse, getting lessons. They don't all. Some of them don't pick it up till junior high or high school. But if they can get some of that skill set developed really early, then they can really go a long way. They can really get really specific in their training, like all sports, if you will. It's just, honestly, as you get a little bit older, if you start trying it a little bit older, you have that fear now developed once you get on them. So the younger they are, the more resilient they are, and they don't worry about those kind of things. And so most of them start at a really young age. Most of them have either owned or leased their own horse. I'd say more so than not, they don't continue to own their own horse when they come to college. I mean, that's usually the parents saying, and for them, their individual career transitions after 18 years old. They've been a youth or a junior in their career, and now they become an amateur or a non-pro, which you can do for the rest of your life. And so parents usually have them put that on hold during college. Make college be number one. Focus on school and your team responsibilities. And then afterwards, they have the opportunity to go back. There's no deadline on that. So a lot of them will go compete over the summer. They'll continue to have places to go catch, ride, and train and things like that. But their ownership may have gone on hold while they're in college.
Very good. So, great information.
Yeah.
All right, final thought, and then we'll turn the page, and Glenn Moore is going to join us. But when people come, say they come Saturday to support you against South Dakota State, and maybe they think, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Can I cheer? Do I have to be quiet? Give us a primer for a fan coming maybe on Saturday.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, it's free to the public, so we encourage anyone to come out. There's going to be handouts, so come out. There's going to be free giveaways. It's going to be 70 degrees and sunny, so I mean, it's going to be beautiful. Really, you can follow the lead from everybody in the stands, and it's true. Most people come in and they don't know what's going on. If you sit with a parent, We can put student athletes over with you. They would love to explain what's going on.
Nice.
But truly, from a cheering standpoint, like people who know the sport, whether it's the student athletes or the parents, they want to talk about the sport.
Yeah.
They want to educate people on the sport. So you can snag anybody. Our staff who's around can send one over to sit with anybody and learn. But you'll know, like the crowd knows when to cheer, and they follow the lead of the student athletes.
Yeah,
and so. So it's neat, and then there's some scripting in there, some educational scripting as well to get you to know the events and whatnot. So there's still a lot that a lot of people don't know, but we would love to showcase what we're doing.
Perfect. All right, so Saturday, 10:30, Roy, 10:30 Saturday morning, starting against South Dakota State. And don't be scared away if you haven't been to a meet before.
Please.
You're going to love it. You're going to come and you're going to support and cheer for Baylor just like you would cheer for Baylor at any other sport, right?
Absolutely. Come out, cheer as loud as you can.
That's good. Casie, thanks very much.
Thanks
Pleasure
for
to
having
have
me.
you with us tonight.
Thank
Casie Maxwell, Baylor equestrian coach. Take a break. Be right back. Turn the page. Glenn Moore joins us when we come back. We're glad you're with us on this Thursday evening. The Baylor Coaches Show presented by Central National Bank, and we'll be right back.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all.
And I'll be right back. So, what'd you do this weekend?
I just took the Tacoma off-road deep into the woods. I got to this hidden campsite only it could reach, Hey, what about you?
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Oh, sweet. Wait, hey, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control. I didn't even break a sweat getting up to the spot.
Oh, well, I hit some pretty rough terrain myself. The Tundra handled it no problem with all that torque. The best part was pulling my buddy's camper through the mud like it was nothing.
Well, speaking of mud, I was kicking it up all weekend. But my Tacoma didn't even flinch.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
Whatever fun looks like to you, the Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are ready for it. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
Are you a proud Baylor fan? Do you love prizes? The Baylor Sports app allows fans to track their attendance across athletic events and earn points using Baylor Bold Rewards. Baylor Athletics wants to reward the most loyal fans for cheering on the Bears, so register online today at BaylorBoldRewards.com or download the Baylor Sports app straight to your phone. Prizes this year are better than ever, so start earning your points today.
Elevate your lifestyle with a Baylor Club membership. Enjoy unparalleled access to our exclusive lounge area located in the heart of McLean Stadium. Membership with the Baylor Club means you're part of a vibrant community where networking and forging lasting connections is as easy as a smile and a handshake. Indulge in members-only events and personalized service that caters to your every need. For those extra special moments, host your private events with us. Contact the Baylor Club membership or private events team at 254-710-8080.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
And welcome back on the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's, presented by Central National Bank. And folks, join me in welcoming, and let's make this a very special welcome in beginning his 25th season as head coach of Baylor softball. It's Glenn Moore with us. Wow, look at that. That's the best welcome ever.
All you got to do is feed them.
It is partly your team over here, so glad y'all are here. And, Glenn, we're glad you are here. Season's 1 week away, man. Are y'all ready to go?
We are ready. We're itching to get out there and compete against someone else.
Yeah.
So, it's almost here.
Rain this morning, rain really the last couple of days. Did that slow you down any?
Not a bit. We took yesterday off. We needed a rest. They've been going hard for a long time. We even started before school this time, which is the first time ever, and we did pretty much two-a-days, the old-fashioned two-a-days. So they worked really hard, and we had a camp, and we had a spiritual retreat. They've been going at it. So I decided they deserved a day off, and their arms needed it. And today was kind of light, but we're inter-squatting tomorrow on Saturday, so we'll get called back up.
Great weather, isn't it? Next couple of days, yeah.
Yep.
Next week, actually, pretty good weather, it looks like. That's very good. And do you like that, starting before school starts? It does kind of allow you to do, like two-a-days, do some things differently.
Well, our team lets academics get in the way of athletics, so we have
There's a great quote.
We have quite a few that have to come late for practice or leave early, so it gives us an opportunity to get them all together and get some good work in before they're required to be in class.
You were here as Casie Maxwell was with us. I asked her on her way out, do you have a horse that Glenn Moore could ride? She said absolutely. Would you do that?
Would I ride a horse?
Yeah.
Sure.
You've done that a bunch, haven't you?
A long time ago, but I would ride a horse.
Did you ever own a horse?
Coach Hoot owns a ton of horses.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a horseman.
Had a horse when I was young. Yep, had a horse.
Very good. All right, so what about the makeup of your team? Tell us about returnees, newcomers. How's everything coming together?
Yeah, well, we have a veteran team, a lot of returners that are experienced, especially on the infield. We've got a lot of unanswered questions. We're going to play a lot of players. We've got a good bit of depth this year, that quality depth. So, getting players in games and trying to figure out what our best group of 9 will be, it will take some time. But, it's probably a little more power in our lineup and a little more speed in our lineup. I certainly love our defensive possibilities. We're going to have kids on the bench that can play the game really well. So that's obviously a nice depth that we're not don't always have. Biggest I wouldn't say question mark, because we have the talent, but we've just got to get our pitching. A couple coming off of surgeries and rehabbing. We've just got to manage our pitching and our bullpen right to be able to get them where they need to be for Big 12. So our focus is not going to be, running the sprint, as you say, but the marathon, and making sure that we make adjustments as we go and let the game teach us what we need to know. We've got a tough schedule again. We got both ends of the spectrum. We've got some games that, should be able to breathe a little easier with, and then we've got even though they're not in Big 12, we've got Oklahoma coming in. Our opening weekend, Getterman Classic, we'll play them twice, and then we play Texas. We play opening weekend, Texas A&M, ranked 8th or 9th. Wow. So UCLA, Nebraska, just some really good non-conference competition that will allow us to figure out where we are and where we need to be and get us prepared for a very good Big 12 run.
Terrific. A wise coach once told me you can never have too much pitching. How do you feel about your pitching depth at this point?
Well, I agree with that coach. You can never have too much. And, we've got some good arms, but again, we've got to manage it well and give them time to grow. And I think, we've got the defense, the perfect defense for that scenario. And if we can manage it right and they hit their stride by the time we get to Big 12 or halfway through the season, then we can be a pretty special bullpen.
Very good. Nice preseason honors for Shaylin Govan and Dari Orm. That's nice to be recognized. And you're number 20 in the preseason poll also.
Yeah, I know there's four polls that I think 3 or 4 polls out there, and we're ranked in all of them, as high as 16 in one. But again, potential means you haven't done a dang thing yet. So we're potentially pretty good, but we haven't done it yet. So that's with everybody. It's respect for what we did last year, and the girls know that. And while it's nice, gives you publicity, gives Katie something to send out on social media, we've got to prove ourselves, and we understand that. And we may drop a few spots and then come back up, but it's we're going to get there. This team's going to be a special team, I believe, and it's a process, and we've got to keep that in mind and not get too high off of a big win or too low off of a loss.
Yeah. I need to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about your 25th season coming up at Baylor. And Coach Glenn Moore is our guest on the Baylor Coaches Show. It's presented by Central National Bank. Central National Bank, your leading independent bank. We'll be back with Baylor softball coach Glenn Moore right after this.
Play ball!
Hey, baseball fans, now's the time to get your season tickets for Baylor Baseball 2025. Come support Mitch Thompson and the Bears all season at Baylor Ballpark. Season tickets available for as low as $100 and available now at BaylorBears.com/tickets. Get your season tickets now to support Baylor Baseball, and we'll see you at the ballpark this season.
Premier ER and Urgent Care has all the convenience of urgent care with all the expertise of an ER, all under one roof. At every visit, be seen by ER-trained staff with on-site lab and CT, X-ray, ultrasound, and EKG. Here, you pay for the appropriate level of care that you receive, and we are in-network with most major insurance providers. Premier ER and Urgent Care has 4 convenient locations serving Texas: San Marcos, Temple, Waco, and Woodway. To learn more, visit www.premier.care.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB, your bank for life. Member FDIC.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long business meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line. You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Welcome back to the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's. The Baylor Coaches Show presented by Central National Bank. We continue with Glenn Moore, Baylor softball coach. I said this half in jest, but more serious than in jest. Your 25th season here at Baylor. Think about that. I mean, that is tremendous. You're over 900 wins at Baylor, over 1,000 total, and 25 years, that's a long time at one place, isn't it?
It is, and it's a blessing. You know, when Janice and I left LSU 25 years ago, you know, we had one request of God is to let us raise our kids in one spot. Obviously, knowing that his will would be better than ours, we'd do whatever he asked, but he blessed us with the opportunity to stay not only at one place for 25 years, but a great place like Baylor. So the people here and the school and the atmosphere and Christian environment and all of those things really, I just am overwhelmed by, you know, the blessing God gave us with let us staying here this long.
That's tremendous. Well, it's been mutually beneficial. Baylor's been blessed by having you in charge of the program and your staff. It's been, you know, just a hallmark of your staff, the consistency that you've had.
You know, that's whether they say you hire people that are smarter than you. Wasn't that hard to do, but that makes you look good, and I certainly have done that. Britt has been, of course, pitched for me at LSU and was probably the reason I got this job because we did really well. We won 4 SEC titles there, and then the last 2, you know, were right before we moved on here, and she was a part of those. And then she came on board a couple of years later, and she's been here ever since. And certainly, I think the top pitching instructor coach in the nation, and Coach Hoot's awesome. Kids love him. He can outwork any of us or all of us together. He's got an unbelievable energy and just his wisdom. To transfer from baseball to softball is, you know, there's a lot of similarities, but there's also some challenges, and he certainly has been a student of the game and talked to the great softball minds and has adapted a philosophy that is working really well and can out-recruit anybody as well. And, of course, Coach Diaz, Megan played for me as Megan Weldon and played second base for us, and an outstanding person, number one, and mother, and a great infield coach as well. So you put those coaches together, and we also have a director of operations in Danny Price who coached softball as well, and also a great coaching mind to bounce things off of. But it's just a great staff, and we're very blessed that Baylor is you know, a place that they want to be because they could go in different places, different directions, all of them, and they choose to be here.
Yeah, and never really out of mind at all is Coach Lum, Mark Lumley. We were texting when I was in Tucson, and you were telling me you were remembering some of your trips to Tucson and that brunch place that he'd take you.
Yeah. The Blue Willow.
Did you eat
there or just swing by and take a picture?
It was packed. The parking lot was packed. So.
The Blue Willow, yeah.
But isn't it a great memory to think about him and the impact he has had on this program?
We had Stacy come by, his wife, and come by and talk, and Megan, Mason, his son, stepson, come by and speak with the team because we want to kind of keep his memory alive. And we were realizing that girls are coming on board now that really don't know him, and life is like a vapor, the Bible says. So, you know, it's come and gone. So we're trying to keep his memory alive. But he changed so many lives, and Baylor was very blessed to have him. Great ambassador for Christ, but also for Baylor University, and I'll let her share some of the memories. And a lot of funny stories, but just a genuine good person, as you well know. And, we miss him dearly. but he made an impact on a lot of lives when he was here.
Man, no question about that. All right, the schedule. Give us the highlights of the schedule. You do open 1 week from tonight.
Yeah, we'll go down to College Station, open with Abilene Christian, Purdue, and then we play Texas A&M on. We'll play the first game on Thursday, and then 2 on Friday, and finish up on Saturday with a doubleheader. We'll come back here, open up on Valentine's Day with Hofstra. We have a 3-team Baylor Invitational this year with Oklahoma and Hofstra. Had Duke and Washington in that, and they dropped out last minute and left us in a little bit of a bind, but it's going to be an exciting weekend to get to see some good softball in our opening weekend and get the Sooners coming back now that they're in the SEC. It'd be nice to play them again, and so they'll come in. Our tickets are going fast. We need people to get out and represent the green and gold with those tickets as well. So Texas, we'll continue to play Texas, go out to the Palm Springs tournament. Went 5-0 in that tournament last year, John, and played really well, and we'll play UCLA, Missouri, Nebraska, can't remember all, Cal, some real good competition. So, we'll be tested early, and I think winning is going to always be important, but we've got to keep everything in perspective as we build this team. You could go the first 3 weekends and be undefeated. If you don't play anybody, you don't get any better, but we're going to play people that will make us better, and try to win a few of those games along the way.
Ooh, very good. Sounds great. What about the league this year? No Oklahoma, no Texas, other new schools that are coming in, some new schools with really rich softball tradition.
Yeah, it's a great conference. It's, Arizona State both won a ton of national championships. They're new. Utah, I think I said last year, out of the 3 schools, Utah may have been performing the best out of those 3 new schools in our conference, but Arizona had a real good year last year, and Arizona State's going to be better this year. So along with BYU and Central Florida and Houston came in last year, I think it's 11 teams now, and a lot more parity. Oklahoma State was preseason favorite to win it. They've been to the World Series the last few years, and I think we're picked 4th. But again, those preseason polls are preseason polls. So I think it'll be an opportunity for – there was a big gap between number 1 and number 2 for the last few years in the Big 12, and especially before Texas made their move to strengthen their team. But it's now a lot more parity with the teams. I think anywhere from 6, 7, or 8 has a chance to make a run for the title.
Great. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, your questions from the audience for Coach Glenn Moore. Talking Baylor softball. We'll be back with more from Rudy's right after this.
Elevate your lifestyle with a Baylor Club membership. Enjoy unparalleled access to our exclusive lounge area located in the heart of McLean Stadium. Membership with the Baylor Club means you're part of a vibrant community where networking and forging lasting connections is as easy as a smile and a handshake. Indulge in members-only events and personalized service that caters to your every need. For those extra special moments, host your private events with us. Contact the Baylor Club membership or private events team at 254-710-8080. Hey Baylor fans, now's the time to reserve your season tickets at Getterman Stadium for Baylor Softball 2025. Season tickets available for as low as $90, and they're available now at BaylorBears.com/tickets. Baylor Softball season tickets available now. We'll see you at Getterman Stadium this season.
The Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are built for all the fun.
So, what'd you do this weekend?
Just took the Tacoma off-road deep into the woods. I got to this hidden campsite only it could reach, Hey, what about you?
Nice. I hooked up the boat to the Tundra and hit up the lake. Towed it like a pro. Had the whole lake to ourselves.
Oh, sweet. Wait, hey, did I mention I went rock climbing too? Thanks to the Tacoma's crawl control. I didn't even break a sweat getting up to the spot.
Oh, well, I hit some pretty rough terrain myself. The Tundra handled it no problem with all that torque. The best part was pulling my buddy's camper through the mud like it was nothing.
Well, speaking of mud, I was kicking it up all weekend. And my Tacoma didn't even flinch.
Well, sounds like we both had fun weekends.
Mine was better.
Whatever fun looks like to you, the Toyota Tundra and Tacoma are ready for it. Test drive at your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Feature availability differs based on trim. See Toyota.com for details.
You're listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
Coaches Show. We've got Glenn Moore with us. We've got questions from the audience. That includes this pile of questions from this table, which are your players, okay? And the question was, do I let you look at them ahead of time, or do I just go blind Nello and ask you live on the air? And the answer is live on the air, exactly, okay? Here are 3 other questions not from your student athletes. Okay. Dr. Wood, James Wood says, when will the softball TV schedule be added to BaylorBears.com?
That'll be a question for Katie.
Katie? Soon. The answer is soon. Tomorrow is
tomorrow
the answer. There you go. Ask and you shall receive. Good question. John Jackson is right here. John says, how would you describe the personality of this team?
Oh, my goodness. This is joyful, fun, sarcastic. Love to make fun of my bald head. You know, they're fun to coach. They really are. They work really hard. There's a lot of things I could say positively about them. I should have said it before they wrote the questions that they're going to ask. But, yeah.
We already got the questions.
Good bunch of young ladies.
Very good. I like joyful. Roy Evans asked, describe how you would build the perfect softball player.
Builder. I need the ones that come already built. So pre-built is best. Obviously you want great people to be around. So personality and attitude and people that genuinely care about other people. I want competitors. So, those that are a little unhappy about playing time don't bother me a whole lot, because I want them to want to get in the game, understanding that, you got 25, you're going to play a third of those, and by the time the season gets there. But strength and speed, and our game is very diverse. You need players that can do a lot of different things. So depending on what position we're recruiting, I'd build them differently, though. So they wouldn't be cookie cutters, and mine never are. So
very good. Good questions. Thanks. All right, questions from this table right here, okay? Glenn, this is from Jaden, and who is this? Karen Lynn?
Freshman, better be careful.
Okay.
Carrington, KD.
Carrington, I'm sorry. Carrington. Okay, the freshman asked, what is one time you ate and left no crumbs? Oh, this sounds good.
Okay. Well, that's a new phrase that I was taught recently, and I used it with the team awkwardly, and they thought it was funny. So, these new generations have their sayings, and I try to learn them, and they laugh when I do that. So.
All right. Very good.
Did I use it appropriately at that time, though? Okay. Good.
You said awkwardly. Okay.
Awkwardly appropriate.
All right. Presley asks, do you like when signs are hot or dead? Inside joke.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so I can't tell her signals on the radio. Somebody is still on, so I'll pass on that one.
Okay, very good. We'll come back to it. We'll keep this for later in the year.
Yep.
Let's see. Andy's OTB. Ashlyn, a.k.a. your fave. There's no question there. Is Ashlyn your fave?
Ashlyn.
What is it?
So
Andy's OTB?
So ice cream on the bear. So on the bear is a phrase,
okay.
OTB on the bear.
Gotcha.
So they love that phrase. That means they're not paying. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So after this, Andy's OTB. As if you're not going to get full here at Rudy's.
Actually,
good one.
I think they are here because this was OTB. So.
All right. Jensen asks, if you had hair, what hairstyle would you rock?
I'd look just like John. That's
yeah, thanks. That's great. Jensen, be careful.
Yep. She
All right.
forgets who writes the lineup.
Okay, this one doesn't have who it's from, so I hesitate to ask, but will Dari get an at-bat this year?
Oh, my goodness. You wonder who asked that?
I think I know.
So will she get an at-bat? Will she play center field? Will she play shortstop? I tried to get her to catch today, and she didn't want to do that. So if I can get her to catch an inning, I'll give her an at-bat. What do you think?
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
all right. We'll watch for that.
No, not a good trade-off. Never know.
Very good. Great questions, ladies. Thank you all very much. Anything else that we didn't get to?
On a serious note, I'd just like to say, Danny heads up our spiritual retreat every year, and we have had a lot of lives changed there. But it's the way we lay our foundation for our year, and I'm just really, really proud of the emphasis she puts on investing in the lives of our young people. And we had 2 baptized this year at our spiritual retreat. So
Terrific.
Just want to shout out to Danny.
Very good. Man, life-changing in your program. And you've done that for a long time, and you're about ready to go again. Your 25th year. Congratulations, and good luck this season. Thanks for being on with us.
Thank you. Sickle Bears.
Glenn Moore, Baylor softball coach. Season begins 1 week from tonight. Take a break. Be back. Look ahead. Wrap things up when we come back on the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's.
Baylor family, Big 12 basketball is...
All right, should have about a minute.
We want you to be a part of the action. Catch Baylor women's basketball on February 2nd at 2 p.m. against Cincinnati for National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Fans 12 and under wearing their youth jersey will receive free admission to the game. Get to Foster for a big-time matchup against the Cincinnati Bearcats. Purchase your tickets for Baylor versus Cincinnati at BaylorBears.com/tickets.
TFNB Your Bank for Life is the official local bank of Baylor Athletics. Find out why more Central Texas are making TFNB their bank for life. Sign up for our Edge checking and savings accounts to earn interest or cash back. With 5 convenient locations and an award-winning mobile app, banking has never been easier. TFNB Your Bank for Life. Member FDIC.
Hey Baylor fans, group experiences are back for the 2024 football season. Fans can purchase exclusive experiences online and on the Baylor Sports app. Baylor football experiences include on-field photos, sideline access during warm-ups, tunnel access during the team run-out, an in-game radio booth experience with the voice of the Bears, a birthday bash, and so much more. There's limited availability, so purchase your experience today at BaylorBears.com/group experiences or the Baylor Sports app to lock in your one-of-a-kind game.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Today.
Y'all,
will do.
Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long business meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
Yeah, almost exactly a minute.
Listening to the Baylor Coaches Show on the Baylor Sports Media Network.
1 minute.
Things up this evening. We appreciate everyone being with us tonight. Thanks to Crystal and the gang here at Rudy's. We appreciate your hosting us for the Baylor Coaches Show. Back next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks to Casie Maxwell, who is with us, Baylor equestrian coach, and Coach Glenn Moore. Incidentally, we got basketball at home this weekend. The men play Kansas Saturday at 3. The women play Cincinnati Sunday at 2. And Baylor softball will be there signing autographs after the game and handing out
30
schedules.
seconds.
So keep that in mind if you're coming to the basketball games, one or the other, or both, coming up this weekend. Thanks to Coach Maxwell. Thanks to Coach Moore. And we appreciate your being with us this evening. We'll be back next Thursday, same spot here at Rudy's for our next Baylor Coaches